Hi everyone, my name is Zach Steiner.
Juan Martinez.
We're going to talk to you guys today about unpaid and paid internships and kind of the pros and cons of each. So I'll just give you guys a few seconds to read over this. This is our outline. All right, and so we just want to start off with some job market stats. Right now, young Americans who are graduating college are 10% less likely to find careers and jobs exiting college than they were 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, one generation ago, it was a lot easier to find jobs. Now, it's also 3.6 of people under the age of 25, people who are just graduating out of college, are idle. And that's a term that's used by the government, means that you're just kind of giving up. You're not really looking for a job anymore. 8 years ago, the total student loan debt was $461 billion. And 8 years later, it's now $1 trillion, so it's doubled in that time. And it's really interesting, but most entry-level positions in the career field, anywhere that you go, is going to require that you have some sort of experience coming in. That's why internships are such a great gateway. They get you your foot in the door. You get to test drive the careers. That way you get to find out whether you really like what you're doing or not. It lets you build up your business acumen. You can put stuff on your resume. Makes you look really good to your employers. Networking. Networking is very important. And it's a great way to really kind of build up your resume and work on that LinkedIn profile. Also gives you a ton of experience and opportunities. And just from my own experience, this past summer, I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And that was fantastic for me. And at the time, I didn't really perceive how much of a benefit it would be to me until this semester, going through my sales classes and everything, going through a lot of interviews. When I go through interviews now and people see that I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car because of that brand recognition, because they see that I have an internship and they know how rigorous and hard I work in that internship, it only gives me a step up against the competition. It really helps me out in a lot of my interviews. So now I'm going to pass it off to Juan, who's going to talk about a little bit more about the paid versus unpaid aspect of it.
The paid experience definitely pays off because not only do you get the workforce business acumen, but also it helps you financially. In my experience, I did two internships, one with an airline company in Mexico City and one with KPMG in the summer. Not only did it help me to build networks and relationships, it also helped me to definitely pay for some of my college supplies and also some of my tuition. And me being a first generation college student, it definitely enabled me to help my parents out and also take more responsibility in the man of the house. Now, unpaid internships, it has the same weight as a regular internship. However, according to the National Association of Employees and Colleges, unpaid interns are less marketable and also sometimes they say that it's more work for them. According to Kama Tripathi, a college graduate from Georgia University, she's working 70 hours a week, and out of those 70 hours, 40 of them are unpaid. So it's kind of hard for her to pay for her loans and also her credit card debt. And now we're going to show you a video of the legal side to unpaid internships. Maybe.
Okay, scratch that. I don't think we're going to be able to show you the video. This will simply automatically, but sorry about that.
Okay, so to touch upon what the video was saying, there are a couple of cloudy, fuzzy areas in regards to unpaid internship opportunities, and those are in regards to fairness and legality. So with fairness, the concern is that a lot of times the scope of work that interns are involved in is very rigorous, there's certain criteria that we kind of addressed in the video, but the main one is if interns displace full-time employees, that internship opportunity now constitutes as illegal. So if anyone ever thinks about taking an unpaid opportunity, just make sure to look out for that they didn't displace a full-time employee to have you there. It's also important to note that unpaid interns a lot of times have two jobs just to make ends meet. So it truly depends on the individual and the circumstance. Sometimes people can take on this venture and not be paid for work for some time, or maybe sometimes it's not as much of a viable option. So unpaid internships do offer the same benefits as paid internships, except for, of course, the compensation. Um, but at this point, there's nothing really to lose because if for some reason the internship doesn't work out, it's not like you are depending on that source of income. So there's everything to gain: experience, training. You find out if you really like the job or not. Um, and as long as we remember that in the end, we're not working just for free, but we're trying to get an opportunity out of it, we should be fine. And then just to wrap things up, in regards to which option is the most viable, it truly depends. It's a case-by-case scenario. For some people it works out. Experience is very valued in the workforce. So a lot of times if we can't get those paid internships, it's okay to take an unpaid one and to go ahead and get that experience and that exposure in the field. And so as a group, we provided some helpful hints in order to land the internship. So first, start looking early. From our experience, all three of us started kind of looking early. And from my personal experience, I started looking my freshman year, and by my sophomore year, I already had an internship. And I'm still interning at the same company, and it's a great benefit because I've been there for a while, and so I'll learn more about what the scope of work would be if I were to be hired full time. And then we also want to promote that we take advantage of the resources that are offered by UTD, the Career Center, the events that they offer, and business cards also. They're tangible and they're especially prevalent if you're in sales. A lot of times every time people have resumes to take into interviews, but not everyone has a business card, so it helps to differentiate candidates. And also something that we all three had in common was following up with the professionals, with prospective employers. A lot of times hiring managers have let us know that they truly value the person who goes into an interview and after 48 hours follows up and says thank you, and it truly shows that they're devoted and that they really want this opportunity. So are there any questions?
Go back one slide just for a second.
Yeah. I'll give you a hint if one stuff is italicized. Okay, so
Are we good?
we'll move on to the quiz. Number one, unpaid internships are questionable in terms of blank and blank. Determination and blank are crucial to finding a job. Number three, most entry-level jobs require blank. Number four, what are the additional steps that new graduates can take to get a job? And you need at least two. List at least two. And number five, why do students accept unpaid?